Hello everybody, does that fix my sound? It appears to. Silly Streamlabs. Welcome to Let's Build live from Oak Hill Works. How is everybody doing? I hope you are well. So yes, I am well, thank you, Linny. I did not bother replying to you in the text because I was just about to press the live button and thought it was kind of pointless to take my hand away from that. And then, you know, Streamlabs be Streamlabs on the sound, yo. So, yes, good evening, Thomas. How are you? Hello, everyone else. And yes, Alex, woo Peckett. I thought after all the work I did yesterday, the Peckett deserved its place at the back of the layout because isn't it just splendid? And for those that haven't seen the work I did yesterday, that is a Hornby W4. Good evening, Heritage Railway Productions. How are you? I hope you are well. Splendidly dinky engines also approve of Lion's oversized kittens. Yes, the Peckett is called Lion. The nameplate's, of course, coming from the K's Lion kit that we built. Guys, it's got to be nearly a year ago since we started that build, you know? That's weird, that. Those nameplates have been sat around ever since then. And the Peckett seemed like the ideal loco for them. Victorianised locos equal better. You know what, Alex? I really do agree. It does look absolutely fantastic with the cab removed. Gosh, a year, that's a long time. It is, isn't it? One only gets a new one of those a year. They do indeed. Look, there is the top of the cab separated from the Peckett, which now sits in the cardboard box next to the workbench that I pretend is a bin. That's really nice, Peckett. I'm very good, thank you. Excellent, glad to hear it. So, for those that haven't seen what I've done, there are pictures on my Discord, link by hitting ! Discord, in the chat, in the modelling showcase thread on there. So the cab has been cut off just above its waist mouldings. It's got dumb buffers in place of its originals, and of course, being me, it has proper scale free link couplings and a whistle stuck there to replace the one that was originally on the cab roof. There is not a lot of work to it. That really is all it's had done, other than a repaint, and it's looking absolutely fantastic. I did the whole thing yesterday, so that's how easy it is. I'm pretty sure a Peckett might be able to do a little roar if you really tried. I'm sure it could. It would be great to sound fit it, wasn't it? It is DCC fitted as well, so it will run. Looks wonderfully 19th century. That's exactly what I was going for. So, it's good news, bad news time. Good news, I have some copper clad to go under here and give us pickups. I have some phosphor bronze strip, but there it is, you can see it there, to make the pickups with. I have a motor, I have a gear, I have a motor mount, Isn't this all looking very, very promising? I even have stacks and stacks of cable, so, you know, really, really promising. I can't find the screws that screw the motor to the motor mount. I've got everything else. Will it be getting red coupling rods? The coupling rods were painted by the previous owner, and I do believe that the original Hornby red coupling rods are there underneath. So it's very possible I will take those off and strip the silver paint off of them, because I think red would look good on those coupling rods. The original Peckett whistle is awful. I bent mine just breathing on it. Well, you see, I was given this Peckett, and something I discovered whilst doing this build is that, although we're not focusing properly, that dark patch you can see there is not a shadow. That dark patch is the hole where the whistle goes. And the whistle is a bit of copper painted plastic rod. So it didn't have the original whistle when I got it. The original, I think many Peckett owners have replaced the whistles with better ones. I expect so. This one came off a Hornby Percy. Because why not? Which I think gives it triangle provenance originally. Epoxy will do fine, but I don't have 8 hours for it to set, Lily. But the motor mount is there, the motor goes through, we're just lacking the screws. We can get it all pretty much done. The motor mount is a nice, easy fold job. And we'll solder on here. Obviously we want to fold it properly and work out exactly how the motor needs to sit before doing anything with it. And then this arm needs to come off the back of the motor. So there is still plenty to be getting on with on this loco this evening. Percy has too many whistles anyway. Well, my one doesn't anymore. The other whistle on it went to Corbs. So it really doesn't have too many whistles on that one. It used to have too many whistles. Now it has none. Small term brass Hornby whistles are available as spares for about £1. I bought quite a few. Yeah. See, that much brass doesn't seem worth £1 to me, if I'm being honest. Not when I've got a massive supply of plastic ones from the Great British Locomotives and various other ones from kits. I also, before we want to get started, we're actually 10 minutes in now, my God. Before we get started, wanted to remind everyone of this wagon here that I have stuck second in line. It is, of course, the Oak Hill Model Railway 250 wagon. Do you want this wagon? It is one of Tom's 3D prints, and it's a very nice 3D print, even if it is a failed print. This wagon could be yours. Go back to my video from Tuesday, leave a comment if you haven't already. I will be taking the names out the comments at about midday tomorrow to do the draw, so make sure you are in it. And it currently has NEM pockets and the ability for me to add free links to it. I will fit tension locks or free links depending on what the winner would like, or leave it as is if they're a KD user or other couplings. Hydration is indeed important. Does it not have the painted on whistle as well though? I don't quite know why they stopped painting them on, but I know they used to print 2 and then put on 2 metal ones at one point. My person does not have a painted on whistle, and there's a very good reason for that. Because you see, the thing about my person is it's blue. And it has a smoke box door. And I actually got it like this. I think that's actually real cold in the tender as well. But it now has 2 holes where it once had 2 whistles. And despite clearly having a motor and a decent gear, the wheels are free turning. There's obviously something wrong with it. Blurty. And yes, as the bot says, do remember to smash that like button or give it a gentle tap. And while you're there, make sure you subscribe and ring the notification bell so you get alerted whenever I go live or upload a video. This coming Tuesday, for example, I will be uploading a video announcing that someone is getting this wagon. Who it'll be? I don't know yet. There's a lot of you on that list so far. Let's see if we can have a few more before then. Are those 2 holes not for safety valves? Well, they are very much whistles that Hornby fit in those holes. They are the old triangle whistles. I would expect them to be safety valves personally, but they're clearly whistles. So, blame Hornby. We'll leave that as is for now. We're going to take the wheels off. And then we are going to cut ourselves some pickups. Sounds like the metal bracket's had its tap-in stripped at some point. Could be the issue, not 100% sure. It could well be. I think it worked when I got it though, so at some point I may be bothered enough to see. Get on with it. I suppose I should really. It's sort of what you're all here for, isn't it? I'm going to pop all these in the box with the screws, the nuts back on the box, because then they won't go missing. So I think we want to try and get the copper clad to run along the bottom of this section. I think that's where it's going to be the least obvious. So it's this wide and sits between the frames. Because of course we don't actually want it to be obvious, and then we can do a second bit at the back here to go onto the trailing wheels. For that we need to know how wide this space is. Obviously we would normally want to use some proper calipers for this. I don't have any. It's just shy of 10 mil, it's 9.5 mil. You can't see what I'm doing. So we mark up 9.5 mil. In a few places. I'll then take my metal rule that has no measurements on it anymore. And make a mark I can actually see. Nice, thick, deep mark. Nothing like calipers for making you feel like a proper engineer. Well, I'd best not get any then, because I'm not a proper engineer, Tom. We cut one piece 20 mil, one piece about 7 mil. Vernier calipers and slide rule at my workbench. What do you mean, old-fashioned engineering? So there we go, I've got some lines I can actually cut to now. Sometimes I think I should get a second one of these handles. Then I remember that would defeat the object of me having one that I can just use as whichever tool I need at the time. So there we have our two pieces, which will be our pickups. They'll go in between the frames, they'll be sliced down the middle to remove their conductivity and have the pickups attached to them. So it's time to move the vise. What is stopping the glass moving? Nothing, it was just being stubborn. Good evening, Paderborn. How are you today? Do not worry about being late. You've joined us just in time for the horrible noise that is cutting copper clad. So, you might be sorry you're late now, but in a minute you're going to be sorry you came at all. And there is our copper clad. I can see the marks, they're up here. You don't need to. That's not good when your blade does that. Let me sort that out. bend the ends of that apart and it holds better in the blade, in the handle. Using headphones I can just push them out off my ears. Fair enough. See, I normally offer to mute, but people don't ever take that offer up. Almost. I wonder if, when I originally said I was going to do a warts and all modelling live stream, people thought they'd be sitting here a year later watching me cut some copper clad with a saw. I really need new saw blades. Someone remind me to buy new saw blades. That's done well. Buy a new saw. Yeah, don't remind me right this second. Remind me when I get paid. It would help if I was using the better blade, really, wouldn't it? Oh, and we're getting some links from Alex. Thank you, Alex. Donate, help Carrie buy better tools for the stream. I mean, to be fair, that is where like Patreon money and stuff goes. So you're not wrong when you say that. Should probably stop punching the camera as well. Camera's feeling really loose on its mount tonight. No idea why. Why am I holding it on this side of the vise? I should be holding it on this side of the vise. Why is no one pointing these things out to me? Is it because I'm an idiot? Oh, and the bot wants to know I have a Twitter account. It's true, I do. Promise. Sometimes I don't use it for promoting the stream. This bar down the bottom out the way. That's better. Oh, you pop, that's my racket. I mean, technically, Alex, I did program the bot to do that. And there we go, we're done with that job. Now, isn't that better? That blade is really, really hot, in case you're wondering. Really, 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 really hot. And we can see it, so I'm going to take this moment to remind you all, hydration is important. Don't need me, then I'm off. I do need you. Sometimes my community doesn't know how to behave itself. Admittedly, that's not been a problem on YouTube, but sometimes my community doesn't know how to behave itself. So that bit will go in there. And that bit will go in there. And that will be where our pickups connect. We'll also obviously run some wire between them. Probably individual wires from each one to the motor, to be honest. But that is how that will go down. They need a space cutting in the middle of them. To give them electrical isolation from each other. And then they need attaching to the bottom of the chassis. That is indeed that way. So if I mark a line down the middle there, yep, that is down the middle. And down the middle there. Oh, this copper does not want to cut. Normally a couple of slices from the blade and then a run over with it upside down tears a nice hole down the middle of it. Well, I say tears, it slices reasonably clean actually. Though I'm not really pressing as hard as I normally would because I don't want to get my fingers too close to it. I already have a rather interesting looking cut on my finger from some modelling the other day. When I say rather interesting looking, I mean it's perfectly round. There we go, we're through now. And of course we can check we're through with a multimeter. Mine, unlike many others, does not beep for continuity. It displays a 1 when there is none. Number changes when they're together. So there we go. There is no connectivity between those two sides. That doesn't surprise me because there is now a reasonably sized gouge all the way down. I don't usually like using the saw blades for that because the back of the knife blade is that bit thicker. I'm guessing my knife is getting a bit blunt though. What? The beep is 90% of the reason I own a multimeter. Well, yeah, mine does not beep. Blame Elson, whoever Elson are. I'm not sponsored, which is why I'm saying bad things about this. It does not beep. Ideally, that command makes an actual beeping sound at your end, or maybe play an entire Roadrunner cartoon in the background. The thing is, James, I can make commands play sounds. That is actually something I can do. Oh, this doesn't want this. This is a really tough copper. This one. Oh, there we are then. That's settled. Nails, bats and nails on blackboard and foghorn. So, some of those I'm definitely not happening. By some, I mean all of them. I think that's through, but it's not very thick. Not even the mewing kittens. Nope. One is added to make the sound of a cat. I'm out for good. Who wouldn't want the sound of purring? That Alex, yeah. I mean, what I could do, James, is I could add all these commands and make it so that only people who support me on Patreon get to actually use commands that make sounds because they pay to distract me. Right, that looks like it's all the way through to me now. I'm happy without it, thanks. Gosh, for patrons be able to set off a side run. Well, you see, that's all stuff I could do. But I don't have many Patreons, so it probably wouldn't be worth it. And there we go. We have no connectivity. Look, if I do it there, we do. I do it there, we don't. Do it there, we also do. But there, we don't. Pain to distract you. Is that what a little kid... Is that a little like school fete attraction where people pay to throw wet sponges at teachers? Yes, that's exactly what it is, James. God, school fates, I remember them. The secondary school don't hold them, and the primary school haven't held them the last couple of years because they've had other things that have prevented it. One year they didn't have a field to hold it in because it was full of mobile classrooms because the school had burnt down. The year before, they'd had a really good one with horse rides and everything. Hydration is important. Now, of course, for this, I'm going to do my usual trick of super glue on stream, epoxy to strengthen later. Because if I need to break it at any point, I can. And it means we're not sat here for ages waiting for it to actually become attached. It's now attached. See, just like that. Obviously, it definitely needs epoxy, especially on that one at the back there. That's never going to hold in place. Pretty sure it's only actually, yeah, it's only actually touching the chassis on one side. But it's strong enough for now. Of course, what we are now going to do is bring the multimeter that I just spent ages wrapping up properly back, and we're going to check that we're not shorting out onto the chassis, which we're not on that one. And we are not on that one. Because of course shorting out onto the chassis would be what is known as a bad thing. I am now going to wrap things up again, because otherwise they'll just get damaged. So I'm not going to need them for a while. So they can go over there. I've just had a thought. That one's too far back, isn't it? Yes, that's too far back. Shorten out to the chassis, a good thing actually if using the American pickup system. No, not shorten out both sides though. I should have checked that, shouldn't I? That needs a chunk cut off the front. I'm feeling the chassis does as well, looking at that. So, I went through and checked the running speeds of various gears. Never fitted any to the chassis, obviously, because I wanted to know that I was giving Linny something that would run at reasonable speeds. This gear here is ideal when paired with the one that is on that motor. But it won't fit through that axle hole because there's a big hunk of chassis in the way. Quick check, that gear is smaller than the driving wheels, right? Yes, yes it is. It's even smaller than your two small driving wheels. See? It's also loose on there, it needs bushing, but I've got bushes to do that, that's fine. The problem here, Linny, is that I'm going to have to cut a chunk out the chassis to get it to fit. It's not going to be visible, it's far enough back, because I'd only be cutting out to about there. But that is rather a pain. So I'm just, that's fine, the only visible bit is where the slide bars are. Yes, yes it is. But I wanted to make sure it wasn't going to be visible if we were cutting about bits of chassis. Because if we were making it visible, that could make, you know, it could ruin the whole logo, really, let's be honest. No matter how good a job you do, if you can see the gear, kind of ruins the fun. So that sits there, we need to lose to there to be safe. Good evening, Richard. How are you this evening? I hope you are well. You join us just as we prepare to cut some more copper clad, a job we hoped we were over with because no one likes cutting copper clad. It's loud and horrible. Especially when it actually cuts. Now, I'm sure there's many of you thinking, why is he cutting this here and not pulling it off? It's because I want this to mark where I need to cut to on the chassis. Having that trouble with my off-trim goods, trying to figure out how to fit the motor and gearbox in without the gears showing, it's not easy on small pre-grouping locos. No, it's not. And your two options, neither of them are ideal, are they? Very well, Gary, just been having a clear out. How is everything on your end? Everything on my end is good. I actually had a clear out of the railway cupboard the other day and managed to find 2 bin bags worth of stuff to get rid of. Admittedly, it was all stuff that had got water damage when we had the leak last year, but that's not the point. I don't voluntarily throw railway stuff away, as I'm sure you can all imagine. But it does mean my railway cupboard is now looking a lot better and Hailsham is a lot more accessible. I even had a couple of his boards out, but shush. You don't need to know that, there's nothing coming to the channel because of it. Oh no, I'm not sparring this side, so I am on the other side. Found out my little brother has been saying he wants a train set, so it looks like I'm getting him into the hobby early. Excellent. Excellent indeed. Good evening, Stephen. How are you today? I hope you are well. Right, there we go, it's come off. Still won't snap. Can't. It really is a strong bit of copper clad I got, isn't it? Just chuck it in the vise and give it a cut there. Only 5 years old, so that might be good. Excellent. I got my boy his first train set when he was 5, and look where that's going. He's up on the channel with it now. There we go. In the middle of a nasty bout of Westonitis. Ooh, that is nasty. What you need for that, Stephen, is some nice doses of Ratio Midland clear stories. They help with Westonitis. I've got 3 of them now. I think I've got 2/3 and a composite. So I need to get some brakes really and hope they're all appropriate for the line I want to build along behind my shed. Yeah, the best thing for Westonitis is both steam coal and cylinder oil. It's a nice interregional train. They're for the Midland project, James. My interregionals will be London and North Western. I hear the best thing for Westonitis is to encourage it. No, definitely not. Definitely not best to encourage it. Will the Midland project have Great Western interregionals? No, no it will not. This is not going to be fun to cut. Throwing that out there now. What's the best thing for LB&SCR writers? Definitely encouragement, yes. More terriers. To be fair, LNWR interregionals should be very interesting. Indeed they should. I've got a photo that doesn't really give me the right to have an LNWR engine as well, but I'm using it as an excuse to have an LNWR engine as well. What is fun to cut? This specific bit of chassis, because the blade won't fit in that way, it's too long. It won't fit in right at the edge because the bearings are there. So it's diagonal cuts down there, slightly inside. Once bitten, yes indeed, Stephen. So yeah, I've got basically no movement, really. I do need a piercing saw to do this, really. I do actually have a piercing saw somewhere, but I don't know where. What I don't need is a circular saw before anyone says it. I had enough of them last weekend. It's not even starting to come through the other side. It is now. Got any snips that... Yeah, I would if it wasn't so thick. It's a reasonable sized bit of white metal, this. Otherwise my snips would do it. But it's about this thick. So it's a fair old chunk of white metal we're taking out. If your shed seems late pre-grouping, given the increased cooperation between Midland and LNWR 1908, LNWR local and shed is not unreasonable. Ah. Interesting, I did not know that. Circular saw will not be a sound command, James. Gary, all the gear and no idea where it is. Oh, I know where the gear is. Haha, see? White metal soft, give them a try. No, I already know they won't. I know they won't do a clean enough cut through this thickness of white metal. I'm just going to do the other side for a bit. Make me feel better as I make some progress. I mean, I'm making just as much progress, but I can see this progress. Midland and LWR Corporation, I'm pretty sure that's an oxymoron. That's what I thought, Alex. Doesn't have to be a clean cut, that's what files are for, but okay. Yeah, but I'm more worried about damaging the outside of the chassis, Linny. When I bend it and twist it and all sorts that these cutters will do. Things I do for lack of looking for tools, eh? This is why, everyone, you should know where your tools are and keep them organised. That's another lesson from me. And that is why you shouldn't put that end on the bottom. Luckily it's white metal and it's nice and bendy. That's not tall enough. That'll do for there. See, I can do it. Organising tools is even easier when you don't own any. It is, that's a top tip from Alex the Mole there. Organising tools is even easier if you don't own any. So what is everyone up to this evening? Any projects on the go? That's how thick a chunk of white metal we were dealing with. I'm building virtual extension for my under construction layout. Oh, excellent. Playing around in slate quarry route. Oh, that is a beautiful looking route. I can't wait to see it on your stream at some point, Alex. As well as computer controlled station announcements and IECC simulation. Oh, excellent. Excellent indeed, James. Well, maybe in the 1860s, but not by the 20th century. The LMS would have happened sooner or later without the aid of the Railways Act. Gosh, that's quite a chunky. It is indeed, isn't it, James? I did not realise that, Stephen. I thought they were still had a quite decent rivalry come 23. That's not the one I want, that's the one I want. Just to rid us of any sharp edges that might cause us issues in the future. It still sounds wrong, Stephen. So I've discovered that it's possible to have people operating the signalling on my layout over the internet with the software I'm using. Oh, that's cool. I mean, exceptionally confusing when you're driving through and someone randomly changes the signal, but still cool. Right, so that should now give us loads of room. I say the gear still needs bushing. I've purposely not done that yet. But there we go, we've got loads of room in there now. Might be one day virtual operating sessions for both this N-gauge layout and double O-gauge steam layout. Not even really started yet, I'm afraid. That might be of more interest to those here. Oh yes, I'm sure they would be of interest to those here. Definitely. And then our bit of copper clad can go back on and still have loads of room for the gear. The idea is that the trains would be automatically driven, but there'd be a few human signallers in various places and webcams pointing at the layout. That sounds cool. Great deal of folklore handed down as accepted fact when it comes to the first decade of the LMS. Don't believe everything you're told. Okay, Stephen, I won't. Does that include what you're telling me now? I mean, I'm sure it doesn't, but that's what makes it funny. It says either that or lockdown sending me insane. So again, we'll stick that on with super glue. I will epoxy it off camera. We'll put the multimeter back on and check again for shorts now that that is attached, because of course it has been chilly today and let's be honest, shorts are not that fashionable anyway, unless you're a postman. Yep, everything seems good there. basically don't believe anything I say about the LMS. So I can crash trains without being there. Excellent. That does sound excellent, doesn't it, Harry? Really, I should keep a mental note of you as a potential future virtual operator. Well, I'd like to try as well, James, so please do note me. And there's a link to Patreon from the bot. Remember, go to Patreon, donate some money, and let me buy new tools. Why won't you let me buy new tools? I'm trying to give stuff away. This wagon, to be precise. I want to give away this wagon to one of you, any of you. If you want this wagon, all you have to do is head over to Tuesday's video and leave a comment, and you'll be in a chance of winning this very wagon. Tuesday's video, which includes a time lapse I'm really, really happy with. Happily, software does include full interlocking and I can restrict user privileges. That's probably, but both of those things are for the best, James. Projects I'm supposed to be building. Some of Tom's Brighton and South Eastern wagons and Linny's Billington broke, but somehow the Westernitis has got in the way. Apologies, chaps. Buy new tools. How about a tool to find your existing tools? That too, yes. Nothing wrong with spot of Westernitis. There is many things wrong with a spot of Westernitis. Oh, now I've lost the thing. Oh, there it is. So, Stephen, we have one of Tom's Brighton wagons and one of Linny's Billington brakes. You know you want to. GWR, the red period with plates for preference. See, I should know that you're suffering from Great Westernitis because I was reading your thread earlier, and I remember the discussion about plates and red wagons and such forth, and wanting to find a photo of something. Gosh, Dean, how delightful! I approve of Dean. So I am paying attention to your thread. Right, so we want power, shockingly. Never have guessed it, would you? I'm going to go to my selection of little cables. I think if we run here to here, and then once the motor is in place somewhere around here, up through that gap to the pickups on the motor, I think that's the best way of doing it. So let's get some power and soldering iron and get our two pickup plates connected together. I've seen some of that plate discussion on our own web, just as confused as I was when I started. Yeah, I feel the same, Tom. Do love a clear story. Prove it. Power. Stop taunting me, I'll get back to blokes and stuff. Oh, go on, Stephen. You know you want to. Hopefully not shocking power. Hopefully not. Both Brighton and Great Western are delights. The Brighton especially, so. Going to glue the wire to the side of the chassis to keep it clear of the gears. Something like that, yes. Right, and the iron has heated up. That was nice and quick of it. And I have made lots of noise dropping things because of course I have. You don't expect anything else of me, do you? Good, I'm glad. Because if you didn't, by now. A bit of tingle from 18 volt DCC before. 16 volt DCC, surely. I actually find I get less of a shock from my DCC stuff than I used to get from my old Gauge Master DC stuff. Very DCC, you can get up to 20 volt. Fair enough, mine's all quite stable at 16. I wonder if it varies by manufacturer as to how much it varies. I've never checked the boys back and stuff, but my lens always stays pretty solid at 16. I'm going to check those two on the multimeter again. Yeah, they're fine. They are fine. Well, it's very simple. The Great Western went through a phase of using cast number plates on its wagons. At my 1902 period, then in 1904, they started taking them off and using them as breakdown ballast instead. Do we know that it actually happened in 1904 though? One of my DCC command stations outputs 18, another 13. How very strange. You'd think they'd all be the same. Intriguing, why did they do that? Yeah. I'm going to say, do we actually know the date for that? Because I know there's a bit of fog around when they went from red to grey as well. So is that a definitive, it happened, the plates went in 1904? Or started to go? I'm sure they didn't all go in one batch. Great Western people happen in inscrutable ways. Fair. There we go, like even that's running itself nicely down that side. Now is this one long enough? I doubt it, but we'll just go with a different colour. No, it isn't. So that black one can go up to the motor on that side. go with red on t'other side. So in the red question to one side, the last Great Western initials were introduced in 1904, usually with painted numbers, etc. But for a couple of years after, some wagons were still being built with cast number plates. It's still on the calculated force. It does, doesn't it? It's really annoying, YouTube's 200 character limit. I couldn't believe it the other day when I was watching someone doing a live stream on Twitch, which is more of a gaming platform than YouTube, and I hit their character limit in the comments, which is apparently 500 characters. I didn't even realise they had a limit until hitting it. You could just use 2 lines. You can use multiple messages, yes. I want to take off a bit more of that. That's better. Like this, you mean? Exactly, Sleeper. Got to go to work tomorrow, so I'm off to bed now. Oh, good night, Paderborn. Sleep well, and I shall speak to you again soon, I hope. To be fair, stream chat could get out of hand without character limits. That's very true, Alex. Very true indeed. I am going to top up the hydration vessel because it is empty. And in case you weren't aware, hydration is important. I really, really need to order one of those mugs so I can have a mug saying hydration is important. Although I'd feel a bit silly drinking knockoff Tango from a mug. Hydration is important, everyone. And yes, I realise I just said a brand name. And that goes against my sponsorship thing. But I didn't actually say who it's made by. I said who it's not made by. Right, we're going to bring this back out. And we're going to make sure that we haven't shorted to anything attaching those wires. I mean, we definitely haven't, but that's not the point. So these two, yep, they're fine. Those two are fine. Nothing there, nothing there, nothing there, nothing there. There we go. You cannot check too many times. You can have sloping glasses made up. I don't think Teespring, who I use for my merch, actually do glasses. But I would like... I mean, I actually have a pair of pint glasses with terriers on them already. One of them is blue, so matches the channel colours. No, there's the bot telling us hydration is important, all on its own. It's as if it knew. Or is it just that I knew? Who knows? Certainly not me. So yeah, I do actually have a pint glass with a blue terrier on it. So that is a thing that exists, but it does not say hydration is important. If it were to say that, it would be in white text. Gill Sands, to be precise. What shade of blue, you ask? Well, if we've got to pick a shade of blue, it would be Oxford blue. A colour that I'm very happy with on my adorable little backdated dumb buffered Peckett. It is also the colour of the Oak Hill Model Railway wagon. With Oxford blue with the ironwork picked out in black. Whiteboard tyres because of course, silver buffers. It's very much a show wagon. It's the first one they do where they put it in front of the camera and take a nice picture to show off what they're capable of. Why would I want anything else, let's be honest. So I'm going to take the trailing wheels out of here. There's a reason I'm using the trailing wheels first. I was supposed to do that before wiring all this up, wasn't I? I was going to put some bushes round in the hole there so that it doesn't have all this sideways fade. Oxford blue is a happy colour indeed. Yes, it is. And it is the official colour of the channel. Oxford blue with white text in Gill Sands and my terrier. Those are the standards of my media and marketing tools we have. Where did I put my bush? I had some plastic rod that after discussion with Lily was going to be used as the bushing for this because it has the right inside diameter. I still prefer GER Ultramarine. Nah. And once the Pecket's actually finished and has its full paint job on it, it's just going to be absolutely amazing. Is this bit of rod the one we're going to use? I had it out the other day and I slid the axle into it and it went in really easily. Just the right size. It's not this bit's too tight. If I put it in there, the wheels will never turn. I'll have to find that. Still prefer Great Southern lined blue. What blue do you use for Great Southern, Lily? Hello there, Xerox Silver. How are you today? I hope you are well. So I purposely went for these ones because, unlike the driving wheels, they're the right size. Of course, because I've forgotten to bush that first, that's an issue. You see, what my plan is to bush either side, leaving some oval-shaped holes, and then fit a spring from the bottom of this, pushing down on the wheels to give some up and down play, but not back and forwards. GSR Blue is Games Workshop Counter Blue. Ah, there we are. What about Caledonian Blue? Nothing wrong with Caledonian Blue either. Fabulous colour. Umbra 104 is Oak Hill Model Railway Blue. And it is fabulous. I love it, especially when you highlight it with whites and silvers like the handrails on the packet. It really just brings something special, the nice dark blue and the lighter highlights. Remember everyone to smash that like button and destroy the sub button, then ring that bell. Do what the mole says. The mole knows what it's all about. He's right. Do go down below this stream. Absolutely smash the like button. That's what it's there for. It's there for you to take all your stress out on by smashing it. And since you're there, you might as well hit the subscribe button. They're really close together. Basically no effort to hit the subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you get alerted whenever I upload a video or go live. Right, that's my YouTube shilling done for now. Yeah, that needs a lot more bending. Can you set up Streamlabs to make a sound when you get a certain number of likes in a stream? I don't think I can set up alerts for likes at all. It would be awesome if I could, but I don't believe that's a feature. If we were to destroy the subscribe button, I unsubscribe myself and the button being destroyed, I'd not be able to subscribe again. Deary me. No, I'm sure if you were to destroy the subscribe button, it'd be fine. There we go, that's how we want it. See, I have planned this all out and do know what I'm doing. That is right where we want it. And I can line it up, no effort at all. So we can get the motor mount attached now. Goes there like that. It's a shame you bring the purring kitten for 10 likes. I don't think I could. I don't think my mods would let me get away with it. You know there's a command for dogs as well, Alex. It's not just kittens. There is kittens and puppies. And cake, although the cake is a lie, so... So yes, we will be soldering brass to white metal. So we start by tinning the brass. We use regular solder to tin the brass. The reason we do that is because the white metal solder is better at sticking to other solders than it is at sticking to brass. But everyone on this channel is cat mad. I'm not actually, Alex. Just mad generally. Mad people are the best people. I am indeed mad, yes. Or you could just use 100-degree solder brick of my brick. So the lower degree solders stick better to other solders than they do to brass. There will, when I pull my finger out, be a basic soldering guide going up on the website, which explains things like this and where various solders are best, what you should use for what job, etc. I've been meaning to do it for a couple of days. I've got it all written. I just need to make the actual page for it. So if that sounds like something you would find useful, make sure to go and join my Discord server, getting a link by hitting !Discord in the chat, and then spending all week annoying me into doing it. That is how we get things done. Just waiting for the iron to cool down now, and whilst the iron is cooling down, let's hydrate, because hydration is important. And there is a link to Discord from Alex the Mole. Thank you very much, Alex. That is always appreciated. And the iron is nearly cooled down. Not quite there, but it's nearly there. Tick tock, tick tock. Well, whilst we wait for it still, even more, why don't we once again plug the giveaway from Tuesday's video. You could have this wagon. This wagon could be coming to you by the end of the week. Watch Tuesday's video, leave a comment, get a free wagon. A really awesome wagon. Again, it is a failed print by Tom of TS Design that I bought off him. I've actually got another one to do still, which is still attached to its supports and everything. And so one of them, so that one could be yours. This one will always be mine though. And there is a link to the giveaway video. Thank you, Alex. And with that, the soldering iron has cooled down enough for us to get some solder on here. So of course the first thing we want to do is get it tacked in place. Just enough that we know it's not going to move. Once we have it tacked in place, we want to grab our motor gear and axle again. And that is all still in the right place. So now we can put some more solder on and make it more permanent attachment. And there is the bot reminding everyone that I have an Instagram. I usually promote the live stream on Instagram on a Sunday, but I forgot today. If Luke was here, he'd be telling me off about that. And then he'd be offering to run my Instagram account for me and be the channel's social media manager. And I'd be like, nah, it's fine, I'll just keep forgetting occasionally. Got to give him credit though. He is good at watching out on my social media. He always finds if I've made a mistake and lets me know so I can correct it. Past my bedtime night. Oh, good night, Stephen. Thank you for popping by. It has been great to see you here. And I shall look forward to seeing you here again in the future. I'm just going to clean the flux off. Sharp bit of solder sticking out there, so we'll file that off as well. That's not the file I want. That's the one I want. There we go, that got that. We're going to take this bit off the top here as well, that's quite sharp. And we don't want anyone catching fingers on it in the future. There we are. Sorted. We're now going to put the body on, and this is where we discover the motor mount's too big or something. It shouldn't be, because it's sitting where the tri-aim motor would sit. But you cannot be too careful with testing these things. There we go, fits in there quite nicely. There is plenty of room. And you should always check these things at every stage. There is no point not checking it and then discovering you've got to go back and undo half of the work you have done to fix it. That would be no fun. So, wheels and pickups, I guess then. There really is not a lot to this chassis building malarkey. In fact, no, before that I'm going to put a line of solder across there. I should have done that before putting it on here, but we'll be okay. This line of solder just along the fold line on the brass is just going to reinforce that to help make sure it doesn't lose its shape. Now it shouldn't lose its shape because both the bottom and front are soldered to the chassis. But there's no harm in a bit of extra support. Worth checking the motor doesn't stick into the cab by blue tacking it in place. I already know the motor won't stick into the cab because it's the same motor I've got on my D1. But yes, you are quite right, that is worth checking and we will do that. Although I'm not actually sure I got much in the way of blue tack about on the workbench at the moment. Most of it is out at the narrow gauge. I think this brass is coated in something, you know. There we go. That's taken the solder quite nicely. Make sure that lump isn't interfering with where the motor is. Oh, it is a little bit. Let's file that off. And of course now we want to clean up the flux again, because you don't want to be leaving flux over everything, especially not brass, it will just go green. See, if you were a normal person doing this, you would screw the motor in at this point to test this, but I've, as discussed earlier, I've lost the screws. So you attach that there. Obviously the shaft out the back is going to intrude into the cab, but that's fine, we cut that off. The motor itself does not. It sits very slightly, you know, really, really close to the cab, but it does not intrude on it. So it's the same motor I've got in my D1. So I was already aware of how tight but okay it is. Because my D1 is the later one, which does actually come with a fully detailed cab interior. It's not easy being green. No, it's not. Especially if you're a YouTube live streamer. I hate to think how much electricity I use every week. The living room light on, the telly on, so I've got my live YouTube quality feedback, the two lights on the workbench on, the power pack for the microphone, the laptop, the extra cooling fans for the laptop, the camera, the soldering iron. I'm not short on energy usage when I'm doing these streams, you know. Can't have the brass going green and showing me up. So yes, about those wheels. These wheels are too small. this was something I noticed the other day and mentioned to Lily. So they will be getting replaced, but with new correct size scale link wheels. Green is the colour of the trees. It is the colour of the trees. But blue is the colour of the live stream. Those wonderful oaks are most definitely green. Hello Will, how are you this evening? I hope you are well. Oh yes, and gold. Gold is the colour of me. So yeah, these wheels are 1 mil? Too small? Possibly 2 mil? I can't remember. Where's my D1? Oaks are green and brown. Trees speak in Vietnamese. I'll take your word for that. They're very talented trees. I certainly can't speak Vietnamese. There's my D1. So all the time I've been building this, I didn't notice that the wheels were slightly too small. I was posing it for some pictures the other day next to my one, and I noticed how massive the wheels are on mine in comparison. So off I went to measure it and double check class info and everything, and discovered that these wheels are the wrong size. So they will be getting replaced with some new scale link wheels, which I will be ordering. And so I'm going to fit these pickups, but I might be adjusting them at a later date should they need it. But we're going with phosphor bronze strip. I have loads of it. Let's see if we can get there. No, there we go. That's how long this one strip is. I've got another one. So I'm not worried about wasting a little bit if I have to recut to the pickups, to be perfectly honest with you. So when I'm making pickups, oh no, this is going to be terrible to try and get to focus. I'm just hoping we can get the basic shape showing. So I like to bend them out to the wheel and then back in at the end, and that means you do not get the sharp edge of the bronze connecting with the wheel and scratching it. On the Vietnamese treescape, I had went to Vietnam to get my associate degree. You see, I was from Tennessee, but I had my PhD overseas. Very good, Will. Very good. Hello, finally caught one of the streams. Hello, Spike Bishop. Welcome. How are you this evening? I hope you are well. any chance of knowing what it is you're saying, Alex? Because unlike the trees, I don't speak Vietnamese. So yeah, English, please, Alex. I'm sure there's a very funny joke going on here, and I want to know what it is. Other than you just, because I'm sure you're not just putting random Vietnamese words in the chat. That would be silly. Something changed the label rules while they decided to sit down and have a nice cup of tea. What I said in order was, according to Google Translate, really, indeed it has, James. I think he's mad, and never, Lily. Fair enough. As I say, I didn't think it would just be random stuff you were saying. I did think there would be some sense to what was coming out there. I was just curious as to what that sense was. Green tea with vitamin B, vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin G, vitamin B. Doing very well, thank you. Just got my hat and Barclay delivered. Little Darker been excitedly running in. How are you doing? All the Barclays are wonderful engines, aren't they? My son has one of the Barclays in Caledonian livery. It is absolutely fantastic. Even if he did make me do most of the DCC fitting for it. He usually does that himself. I am very well, thank you. Rather happy with how the fitting electrics to this D1 is going. The body having been built over previous live streams, except for last week's when I hadn't had chance to test some bits I needed for this one. So when you connect these up, you want them to have pressure against the wheel. It's pushing out on the wheel, and if I move the wheel around, wherever that wheel goes, we're getting a connection. So the wheel goes in, it does not come back out because it is being sprung by the pickup. That way, if the wheel set moves around as it's going along the track, we are not losing connection. Personally, I'm more than happy Use a Welsh up for the chat. Love Welsh. Herbal tea or Admiral tea. Will keeps rhyming on breaking out the Klingon. Truly one of the best 040s on the market. It is, but I mean, Hornby have a very good 040 too. You cannot fault the W4. Fantastic little loco with some work. A fantastic little Victorian looking loco. No, that's obviously Welsh. Peggy W4 is the best 040 on the market. Quit rhyming when Lily parts the Red Sea. Lovely, I'm learning Welsh, but I don't speak it well. Yeah. Sprung buffers are a plus though. They are, and they are definitely a plus. I like sprung buffers, especially because I use proper free link and screw link couplings. And it's how do Klingons join railway carriages? A busy carpenter be oak. Well, what's that about that? Train puns in Klingon, now I know I'm a nerd. Yeah, Linny, you're a nerd. I don't think you actually needed telling that, but you're getting told you are a nerd. So anyway, I hear a rumour we're supposed to be working on this D1 here. So again, there's two bends in the phosphor bronze strip. It's flat, it bends out towards the wheel, and then it bends back in away so that we don't have the edge of the strip scratching the wheel. Because you will end up with scratches, those scratches will fill with dirt, and the wheels will then lose their ability to pass power onto the pickups. And that's when you start getting poor running. And we don't want poor running, we want good running. We want cool runnings, just like a Jamaican bobsleigh team. That's the type of runnings we want. Wow, that's a reference and a half, isn't it? I wonder what percentage of my audience have never seen Cool Runnings or are aware that it's actually a real thing. All the best people are nerds. That they are, James. My grandmother speaks first. That's why I said one of the best. You can never have too many wing plates and fittings. Indeed, that is a very good point. Very good point indeed. You cannot have too many wing plates and fittings. Cutplate means success. I know how it was pronounced. I've heard Klingon because I've seen Star Trek. Didn't know what it meant. Yeah, certain Klingon words I won't mention as they are non-PG. That's probably for the best. Prove Jamaican bobsleigh teams, even better Jamaican bobcat teams. Cool running. How do you? What have I missed? Well, Javier, you have missed some pickup plates, some wires, a motor mount, and now, finally, go on, focus camera, some actual pickups. My all-time favourite films. It is fantastic, isn't it, Alex? My rhyming told me I don't want to become a parolee. Well, open the admin have the master key that allows me to rhyme in Chris Jeffrey. If people don't know by now, I do love a bit of rhyming. Yeah, there is a command for Javier, James. You can get that one. Prove your actual pickups, and all things considered, they are the best sort of pickups. They are indeed. You were starting to push it a bit, but yes, I do love a bit of rhyming personally. My children will attest to that. So now we're going to check our pickups are actually picking up. I'm going to connect to this end. I'm going to connect to the wheel. And there we are. We have a short. The wheel is connected. I'm going to connect to this end. I think there's a bit of... I think I've not cleaned the flux off that end. And we have pickup from that wheel as well. Fantastic results. Almost like I planned it. Okay, I did. Right, I understand, I'll stop. Stop for now. Come and do it on Discord in voice chat. Not tonight though, because the voice chat is closed on Sundays now. Because people were pushing things. Oh, I broke it. And that is why these will be getting epoxied on off camera. Because super glue is not strong enough. But epoxy takes too long to dry and form a bond. There it is. I used to be rubbish at soldering contacts to get power to the motor, but these live streams are helping me pick up a lot. Excellent, glad to hear it. I mentioned earlier that I will be, in the near future, uploading a new page to my website dedicated. Oh, this one has. I've been swapping the wheels around. Dedicated to some tips and things. The first lot of tips I have to upload, they are pre-written. I just need to make the actual page for the website is actually tips for soldering, and it includes things like various types of solder and what you should use for what parts. So hopefully that will be helpful to people, because that is, after all, the reason I stream, is to help people. Dear me, what were people pushing? Will feels like he was pushing his luck with how much he was rhyming. And if it was winding up the mods, then fair enough. Got to keep the mods happy. There it is. I lost my bronze strip. I had, of course, put the blooming duster down on top of it. Sorry for the late arrival. Car battery died on me. That's not good when car batteries die on you, Javier. You don't need to apologise for a late arrival, though. That pun flew right over your head. Oh, it didn't. I got the pun. I enjoyed the pun. But I also like promoting stuff that I'm doing to help people. Okay, seriously, soldering tips are very helpful. Thank you. Excellent. Glad to hear it. And there is the bot wanting us to remember hydration is important. I am a slave to that chatbot. Now I can fold this at an angle. which will mean I can still contact the wheels a decent portion of the strip whilst having it mounted diagonally on the pickup plate to get it in line. But I do want to lose a bit of that. There we go. That is better. .3'6" inch wheels. What on earth does that mean in model sizes? In 4mm to the foot, that would be 10mm. 14mm. Yeah, 14. I went to 12 and then took 2 away instead of adding 2 on. I did know what I was trying to do, I just did it the wrong way. Well, if anyone out there thinks this looks fiddly, you're right. But the results are worth it because you cannot see that pickup. We do not want any suicidal Lego men jumping into wagons. Get back up where you belong on top of the pinboard. Silly Lego man trying to commit suicide by jumping off pinboard. Don't quite want that much. Try that much. 14mm, okay, thanks. That's what the box tank needs then. Oh well. Best get them ordered, Alex. Wagon diving is a fun sport. Stand on the bridge, wait for a goods train to pass beneath and jump into one of the wagons. Bonus points for lack of injuries. No, not until you buy a box and make it. Oh, but if you buy the wheels and you buy scale length, and a appropriate screwdriver for them, then they'll be removable, so you can set up the box tank with wheels and such forth and have it as a pretty display piece until I have one and do it. And again, you cannot see that pickup. Remember, kids, don't actually jump into passing goods trains, jump onto passenger trains instead. Oh dear, Alex. Don't jump onto any trains. Gosh. Gosh, you are the king of fiddly. Thank you. Already got the fancy screwdriver thing, just need the wheels. Well then, Alex, get the wheels and set it up and have it looking pretty. I'm glad you think I'm the king of fiddly things, James. I've not even got my glasses on. We are now going to check those wheels are picking up onto their appropriate pickup plates. Oh yeah, of course I broke that, didn't I? That one is. And that one is. Now we're going to check we don't have any shorts still. There are no shorts between there. There are no shorts between there. And there are no shorts between there. I think we're doing well here. I don't think this realises that the more super glue I have to use to hold it in place, the less places I've got to put epoxy to give it a permanent attachment. But we now have pickups on all the drivers. First I need money, and that is an ever-present issue. Scale link wheels aren't that expensive, he says, knowing how much scale link wheels are. So yes, now we have the only pair of the right size wheels. And they're on a pressure fit axle, so you want to make sure you've got a back-to-back gauge when fitting them. And twist them round and make sure you're getting equal amounts of pressure all the way around the wheel. I really do need to find what I was going to use, the plastic tube, that's it. I know words that I was going to use to bush these holes with, don't I? I was looking at £16 odd for 4 of the right size driving wheels. Yeah, that sounds about right to me. So say they're not that expensive. God. 23:23. It's getting late. I did not realise that. I honestly don't think I can fit these ones without the bushes on them. Once the correct size wheels arrive, if I have to adjust the pickups, I will not be doing that on camera. I know it's very unlike me to not do things on camera, but it's what's happening. You've seen me all fit pickups, you don't need to see it again. That is my argument there. And if you really want to see me fit pickups again, you can go back and watch the stream again. No, that's not the right size. That's a pain. Still a bit too tight. See? Definitely a bit too tight still. Sometimes doing stuff off camera is fine. Indeed it is. I quite agree. In case you're all wondering, this is my I can't find the right size bit of plastic solution. Even though I had it the other day and tested it. Because Libby said, oh, I wonder if that bit you've got there is the right size. And I said, yes, it turns out it is, because I tested it there and then. Picking up bits of super glue with it. Looking at motor gearboxes and high level, these boxes are really adding up. Oh, they will do. But what you do is you buy one bit at a time and you don't think of it adding up. There we go, that's the right size now. So we just file that flat. Poke it through there. Oh look, there's a link to Discord courtesy of the chatbot. That means we're approaching 11:30. No, not on the top, down the side. There we go. And of course this is yet more glue that will be replaced with epoxy in the long run. Now that's in, and I can glue it a bit better without fear of trapping the axle. of course. What we don't want there is trapping the axle. But yes, Alex, if I want to break down the cost of a loco, such as a 3D printed one, because I still like to believe that 3D printing should be cheap, even though I know it's not, and it really shouldn't be. There's a lot of work that goes into designing these things. I'll buy the loco 1 month, I'll buy the wheels the next month, and I'll buy the motor and gearbox the next month, and I'll pretend that they're all separate things and not related to each other. And that way they don't seem so expensive. And well, in the case of one loco, I've had that a couple of years and I've still not bought a motor and gearbox for it. And I just worked out it's probably going to cost about 175 for wheels, axles, motor, gearboxes. Is that for all three with Alex? Because if that's for all three, I'd say that's not too bad. There we go, that holds it in place now. So I can get that lined up. Yes, who was each? I'd give up now. Yeah, I quite agree. But for all three, that doesn't sound too bad. If I'm being perfectly honest. There we go, and we got it out without getting it stuck to anything. The problem now is I'm not sure they're going to be strong enough with just the super glue on for me to poke all the way through. I do believe tonight will be the last time that pot of super glue gets used. Luckily I've got 2 more. True, but then comes before the issue of building them. If you're going with scale link wheels and high level motors and gearboxes, it won't be too hard, Alex. The gearbox will look very, very daunting with the parts that come with it, and the instructions will look very daunting. But go back to my live stream where I did the gearbox for the Craven tank, and you will see that they are actually a lot easier than they appear. I will of course be doing more high level gearboxes at some point. So when it comes to that, we can look at it again and show once again how easy it is. There we go, we're through, and we've not broken the bushes. Maybe the super glue will do for demo purposes. Well, I well remember watching you do it, scared me to death. Watch it again, it really was a lot more simple than they first appear. I assure you. So, 25 minutes to go. Huzzah indeed. That was what I was thinking when they didn't break. That looks about right. Yeah, ideal. And this bit already had a bend over the end, so I didn't even need to put that in. Everything's coming up Millhouse. Yep, that's come through fine. Just where I wanted it. So now we want to do the same on the other side, and we will have pickups to all wheels. That's about right, but we want to put slightly more of a bend on that bit. Let it go, there it is, I see it. Because you see, on this stream, I don't lose anything. And in fact, even last week, I knocked a pot of a bag of bearings. Bag went off on the floor. I'm sure we all remember that. Well, those of us that were here last week anyway. And I never bothered looking for them because I wanted to get what I was doing done. After the stream, I looked over. It turned out the bag had only just slid off the bench, and all of the bearings were actually still sat on the workbench. Okay, so that is suddenly nowhere near where I wanted it. Lucky, very lucky indeed. I could not believe it. But, you know, it just goes with that whole, I don't ever lose anything on stream. That looks better attached. Much better. So, I suppose we best test those pickups then. That one is picking up. That one is picking up. And we still have no shorts. So all of these wheels are now attached to each other. And all of those wheels are attached to each other. There we are. The D1 has pickups. So what can we do next? We can attach the wires from the pickup plates to come up through the back of the loco to attach onto the motor. The awkward thing now, of course, is if I had the screws, we could probably get this running in the next 20 minutes. That is so irritating. No shorts, I hope you're wearing trousers. James, not only am I wearing trousers, I don't know why I've screwed that back up. I am wearing a nice shiny new pair of trousers that I had to go out and buy the other day because my jeans got too big for me. I have dropped a size. I'm sure some of you will remember me talking a while ago about the fact I was trying to lose weight. And I have indeed dropped a size in my trousers. I approve of new trousers, but shiny. Gosh, not having enough pudding. No, not having enough pudding. That is one of the things I am not having enough of. And they are genuinely slightly shiny. They'll lose the shine as they get washed. I've always found with new jeans that they're slightly shiny when they're new. And I didn't even mean it as actually meaning shiny. Approve of new trousers. Gosh, not having enough pudding. Remember to smash the like button, everyone. The bot wants you to smash the like button. Well done. Thank you, Harry. So you would not believe how happy it made me when I discovered that the other day. there we have our 2 wires coming up out the back that will attach to the motor. And there is now power to those wires through, all the way down through the wheels. But without those screws, and with me not wanting to mess up the axle just yet, pushing the gear into place, I'd rather do all that when I can mesh the gears properly. I believe that's as far as we can go on the D1 this evening. I'd like to remind everyone hydration is important whilst we have 15 minutes left. And I must ask, how is everybody doing? Congrats on the weight loss, dude. Now my internet has gotten itself together. Wow. So is your internet being rubbish for a change rather than mine? Car, who'd have saw that coming? Not me, I can tell you. Still working on train controller. Awesomes. I'm hoping Linny hasn't fallen asleep at their computer and can see the great progress we have made. There we go, there's the paint after. I do have sat next to me another project from another stream. This was the new cast wagon, I think. Looking sorry for itself and wanting some paint, and has been. My internet often plays up, just not during streams luckily. Fair enough. Still chatting away, looking good. Excellent, glad you approve. So yeah, it's basically there, Linny. So I say, if I hadn't lost those screws, I think we'd get the motor on and get some power through it. But instead, we're going to finish the stream with a nice, relaxing bit of paintwork onto a wagon. If I remember right, I think we built this wagon in about 20 minutes at the end of a live stream. So I have a box full of these projects that have started on streams as time fillers. And every time I'm streaming, they're just sat next to me, just in case they're needed. Proof of paint, I've been painting N-gauge carriage interiors today. Well, one interior for testing, car. And I don't bother with carriage interiors on 4mm because you can't see them. That's some dedication, James. I approve of dedication. And I assume the windows on your N-gauges stuff is bigger in context than it is on my pre-grouping carriages because of them being more modern, but that's not the point. Interiors, I can barely see N-gauge carriage exteriors. Exactly, Alex. One has to have painted interiors when one has carriage lighting. Ah, carriage lighting as well. Excellent, James. I also approve of dedication, BR Mark 1 carriage, so yes, bigger windows and pre-grouping stuff. Indeed, much bigger windows on a Mark 1. I think if I was lighting carriages, I would have interiors on them. And of course, the Roxy kit I bought the other day does have an interior and pickups ready for fitting lighting. So I shall be giving it a decent interior, and well, I don't need to give it a decent interior really. A couple of bits to tidy up, and the windows are a bit naff and need replacing. But I shall be giving it lighting and hoping it does look as good as I hope it will. And of course, it'd be paired with a terrier, so it's worth it for a terrier. Eco Mark 1, so have little people inside too, working tail lights. That's impressive, that's really impressive. James, carriage lighting will be computer controlled, so only active when running in service, not when inside it or running empty carriage stock. Very nice, James, very nice indeed. I approve of decent interiors. When did model railway get so fancy? We need to go back to playing with clockwork on the living room floor. Getting interior colour right is a challenge. None of the manufacturers sell standardised interior colours. I approve of fancy equal fun. Depends on your outlook. I'm with Alex on that. That depends on your outlook. I mean, the plans I have for Hailsham, the layout, not the logo, are very, very fancy. We're talking most technologically advanced layout on the exhibition circuit fancy. But I'm still in two minds about doing carriage interiors. I think some of the stock will have to have it for nighttime running and lights. Outlook, I use Thunderbird. I use Outlook, James, sorry. So I should look forward to seeing this fancy layout. Simple mole, I like simple things and just want to play train. Working signals, computer controlled, both of those things and more. Hobby is very much a matter of taste, I find. It is indeed, James. I mean, come on, even my son's layout in his bedroom has working signals. So I'd best have working signals on Hailsham, eh? But you would be welcome to join in the virtual training sessions if you like. Probably as many people in the hobby think their way is the only way. That is indeed an issue. I know that my way isn't the only way. Because there are two ways, the Oak Hill way and the wrong way. To paraphrase a certain pannier tank. Be surprised at how many layouts don't have working signals. To me, they're almost as interesting as the trains. I don't see the point of going to all that effort of getting everything right to then have every train spad, personally. Alex is right, vast number of different ways of enjoying the hobby, and that works for some, does not always work for others. Agreed. But yeah, why would you want to spend that much time getting every individual blade of grass right and then Spaddy. Aero Park has powered working signals, but if I built a layout, it wouldn't. Fair enough. Oak Hill has working signals in a sense. That sense, of course, being they are wired and working, but the one time I actually fired one of them, the signal post disintegrated. But, you know, other than that, I'm in the process of ordering some custom Engage signals for my layout, although this seems to be a very long process. Oh, fantastic, James. I'd be happy with manual signals and points, less wiring that way. No, I agree, Alex. Manual is a perfectly valid way to go. Nothing wrong with manual signals. Point is, they're not static. Nice to see the packet in the background of the stream, says someone on Discord. Well, look, person on Discord, it's slightly more forward in the stream now. A new kind of working. Exactly, James. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. There we go, got it. To say that lid's not up to much anymore would be an understatement. But I'm nearly out of paint in there, so it's fine. Something else I need to order, because I use a fair amount of sleeper grime. There we go, all covered. And we should really be putting our brush strokes in this direction, because that's the direction of the planking. And there we go, one finished painted wagon. And it's still only 2 minutes to midnight. Who'da thunk it? Also, nice thing about narrow gauge, many lines were single line token working, so didn't have any signals. So, scale tokens to put in the locos then, Alex. Digitally controlled signals, poke them with a digit, exactly. And there's a link to Twitter, Woo Wagons. Gosh, that is speed painting, well done. And I love that backdated packet. It's a fabulous model, isn't it? I sat and did all that yesterday, James. That is literally only a day's work. And only because Alex was bullying me about it. As well. I approve of scale tokens. So, midnight. The end of the stream has come. I knew the plan would be great. It was a great plan. I agree. I approve of the bullying you did yesterday. Gosh, some people seem to model so much faster than I do. I mean, I basically didn't do anything else all day, James, to be fair. Here spending all evening fine-tuning my train controller panel and you've built a D1 and painted a wagon. Well, I put some pickups and a motor mount on a chassis rather than built a whole D1. Do you look forward to the D1 running? Yes, I shall find those screws. I know they're around somewhere. They were all together. I've obviously lost them when I was testing gears. And so next week we should see the D1 actually move under its own power. And won't that just be quite incredible, really? So yes, here we are. Midnight has arrived. So I'd like to thank you all for coming. It's been absolutely wonderful sitting here talking with you and doing some modelling. Please do remember to drop down there, hit the like button, subscribe and ring the notification bell if you haven't done so already. The support really does mean a lot. If you haven't already left a comment on Tuesday's video for your chance to win this wonderful Oak Hill Model Railway Brighton Open A, get back to Tuesday's video and get a comment left. You only have about 12 hours until the entries close and I get the names out. I approve of D1's moving under their own power. Good night. Great streams always do. Good night all. Great stream, Gary. So yes, thank you for watching. I have been Gary. This has been Let's Build. You have been absolutely awesome. Good night, everybody. And thank you again.